And Radhe Radhe, good morning, good evening. Welcome to Daily Wisdom from Bhagavad Gita sessions. And today we start the most exciting Karm Yog series, the week-long series. So you're all most welcome to engage fully in this. And I hand over it to Nitinji. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Thank you, Sandhya. So welcome everybody. A very warm welcome once again. Good morning, good evening, based on where you're joining us from. Today we will start on Karm Yog series. This is one shloka that, if you were to pick one shloka, from, I won't say entire Bhagavad Gita, every shloka is important, but this is something that you can directly start applying to your day-to-day lives and start reaping the benefits out of it. Very, very important shloka. So we will start getting into the depths of this shloka today. So again, a very warm welcome. Let me share my screen and we will get started by invoking the blessings of God and Guru. Hope you all had a great weekend and having a great start to your day as well. So let me share my screen. And we get started. What you're seeing right now. Okay. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Great. Let me get started. Okay. We'll get started with our daily prayers. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Radhe Radhe, a very warm welcome once again. So let's get started. This important shloka that we're going to take upon today in chapter 2 recap journey that we are having. 2.47 is what we're going to take up. I'm going to recite it and you're welcome to follow along. Karmanyavadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturbu ma te sangostva karmani. Okay.
Wow, such an auspicious shloka, which we all have been hearing, I think, since the childhood.
Yes, it may be a deja vu moment for you. This is the shloka everybody gets introduced to in childhood, right? That Mahabharata.
Right.
Intro. You'd hear this one. That's so true. I didn't pick it up from the video because if I do that, there will be copyright claims because this gets recorded and I put it. So that's why I didn't take it. But it's good to hear that as well. All right, let's take a few hands and get started.
Yeah, Samji, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe, Samji. With your original name today for a change.
Yeah. Yes.
All right.
Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturbu ma te sangostva karmani.
Wonderful. Very nice. Radhe Radhe.
So can I go now? Okay. Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturbu ma te sangostu karmani.
Very nice. Yeah, Radhe Radhe.
Payalji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe, Payalji.
कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्म फल हेतुर्भूः मा ते संगोऽस्त्व कर्मणि. राधे राधे.
Yes, Radhe Radhe. Thank you.
Rahul ji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Radhe Rahul.
राधे राधे. कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्मफलहेतुर्भूः मा ते संगोऽस्त्व कर्मणि. राधे राधे.
Wonderful, very nice. Radhe Radhe. Can take the remaining hands as well.
Shri Ramya ji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
राधे राधे. कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्म फलहेतुर्भूः मा त्वे संगोऽस्त्व कर्मणि.
Wonderful, very nice, Shri Ramya. Okay.
Sam ji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe. Karmanyavadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karm phal heturbhu ma te sango satta karmani. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe, very nice. All right, we can down to our last 5 hands.
Yes, Rupa ji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe, Rupa ji.
Rupa ji, can you hear us?
Okay, let's move on to the next one. While some technical problem, I guess.
Yep. Sumesh ji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe, Sumesh ji.
कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्मफलहेतुर्भूः मा ते संगोऽस्त्व कर्मणि.
Radhe Radhe, very nice. Okay, let's pick up the remaining 3 hands and we get started then.
Yes, Pragi ji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead. I'm unable to
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
I don't know.
Sorry.
Hello.
Yeah, please.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Actually, I don't know which tone will come out from my
go ahead.
both tones are good. Yes. कर्मण्येवा देवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्मफलहेतुर्भूः मा ते संगोऽस्त्व कर्मणि.
Very nice, thank you. Okay, down to our last 2 hands, real quick, and then we get started.
Uday Kumar ji, Radhe Radhe, thanks for keeping your video on.
Yeah,
please.
encourage everyone.
Thank you. Happy Navratri to all of you.
Happy Navratri.
Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalaheturbhur ma te sangotsva karmani. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe Uteji, very nice. All right, last but not the least, Surya Prakash ji.
Radhe Radhe, Surya Prakash ji, please go ahead.
राधे राधे. कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्मफलहेतुर्भुः मा ते संगोऽस्त्व कर्मणि.
Wonderful. All right, so let's get started on this amazing shloka. All right, so we need to keep our thinking hats on and really try to take it deep, because we have heard it many times, and there is a repetition bias in our head also, right? If you have heard it, you said, okay, I know this one. But you'll be amazed when you think hard, it can throw up some interesting insights as well. Because like I always say, this knowledge, like Swamiji has explained us, is divine. And divine knowledge is sentient. And something which is sentient is something you can never say that I have cracked it fully. That is the depth of these shlokas. So let's get started. Lord Krishna is giving us the science of work in this case. Now, quick recap. Why is he giving the science of work? You know, it all started with Arjun saying, I cannot fight. I should not be fighting it. It's going to be fight with my relatives. I can't take the blood on my hand and my bow is slipping. And I'm developing symptoms, which is making me nervous, sad, bad, everything. And then Krishna, first of all, starts off with Sankhya Yoga, explaining, first understand who you are. You are a soul. Okay. And if you are actually in that understanding, this external battle that you are fighting, basically, it's not going to slay the soul itself. And then he said, even if you don't understand, don't believe in the soul aspect of it, do it as a matter of your duty. Right? As a Kshatriya, you should fight the war because it is a Dharma Yudh for the righteousness. To preserve the righteousness, you have to fight this war. And to protect, basically, annihilate the wicked, you have to do that. And then he goes on to tell the science of work. He said, all right, you do your duty, but now let me tell you the trick behind doing duty in a manner which is beneficial for you. Okay, now he's taking on this opportunity to impart a message which is mind-blowing. Okay, and I'll tell you why it is mind-blowing. So let's see what Lord Krishna is saying in this one. So he says, you have a right to perform your prescribed duties. It's always good to have a right. We all love rights, but rights come with an obligation and a sense of duty as well. Okay. So you have a right to perform your prescribed duties, but you are not entitled to the fruits of your actions. That's what Lord Krishna is saying. You cannot say, I'm entitled to it because I did hard work, I deserve it. Or if I'm going to do this, I should have it. Not necessarily. Okay. And then he goes on to say, never consider yourself to be the cause of the results of your activities, nor be attached to inaction. Simple. So in these few words, there is an ocean of knowledge here. Okay, and we are going to touch upon a drop of that ocean over the next few days. Okay, and it is still a drop, I would say. Now let's get started and start exploring the depths of this shloka. Okay? So science of Karm Yog, these are the sessions we are going to embark upon this week. And we'll tackle some of the commonly understood or common stereotypes related to Karm Yog. People say, I do my homework honestly, diligently, home, towards the family, with my relationships at office and my studies. And so I'm a Karm Yogi. You guys do your Kirtan, Bhajan, Radhe Radhe. I do my work and so I'm a Karm Yogi. Okay, this is what we will look at in perspective today. So before that, before taking up anything, there has to be a good reason for us to embark on something, right? Even a lunatic in this world would need a reason to do something. Okay, and that reason is usually seeking happiness or pleasure or joy. Something. There has to be a prayojan or reason to take on anything. And even in corporates, there are projects and programs that are spun off. Right? All the corporate culture, if you look at it, they spin off projects. That's only because, and why do they spin off projects? Because there is a problem statement you are trying to solve. If there is no problem statement, there are no projects. There is no need to carry out any work in a particular field unless you are trying to address a problem. So whether it is a scientific problem, whether it is a material problem that you're trying to solve at office or maybe in research or somewhere, there is a prayojan. There is an objective behind doing something. Nobody takes up anything without any reason. Okay. So that means there is usually a business case associated with everything. Okay. Why should I do it? First of all, give me a reason. I don't want to do it, right? That's a very valid argument anybody would have. So let's start off with that. Let's start off with the business case. Why Karm Yog? Okay, this is an important leading question for us to think about even before we start exploring the depths of this shloka. Now, I'm going to put out a few things, leading questions for all of you. And for any of the question, if your answer is no, I would like to know. If it is a no, I would like to know and we can discuss and then proceed further, okay? So let's start. Yes or no? Okay, let's start with that. The first one is, do I want to realize my true potential at my work or with my profession or in my studies? Okay, is anybody no here? You can tell me. I mean, if you're not convinced about it, you say, no, I don't want to. So you can say yes. Okay. See, nobody is going to judge you here. Let's be honest about it. Okay, so first question. Mostly people are saying tick, right? That's fine. Nobody has said no. Do I want to get better at managing relationships? Anybody for no? Yeah. That's good. I think that's very comforting to know. Third one is, Do I want to lead a stress-free life? Or is there anybody who's married to stress, said, I like to feel stressed, if I don't have a worry, that gets me worried in life. Okay. See, there is plethora of books written on stress management and self-help books. Tons and tons of literature, because stress is the leading cause of problems in today's world. And so many people who are have to depart their gross body at a young age, okay, late 30s, early 40s, 50s. I mean, so many cases we are hearing these days. And the cause for that, leading cause for that is stress. When Lord Ram had asked Vashisht, what is disease? What is the root cause of disease? And he said it all starts here, mind. Everything is related to stress, and stress can cause hypertension, diabetes, and whatnot. All the physiology starts changing when you have stress. Your appetite will go for a toss, your bile juice production, so many problems related to that. Doctors would tell you stress is the sure shot way of giving an invitation to Yamrajji. Okay, so stress is something that has to be avoided at all costs, and everybody has said yes. Everybody wants to lead that, so which is a good thing. Yes, Annapurna ji, you have an alternate opinion on stress?
Okay. To realize
only if you have answer no, then you would like to have, if you disagree on this.
Oh,
yes,
unmute. Okay. Yeah. Am I audible? Can you listen? Okay.
Yes,
I want to address the first question. I think everybody should try to, realize, their potential. Because God says that you have to do anything that you do with, with your best of your ability. So I think you have to, do the best in everything and, tap the potential in you. But don't expect any results, leave the results to God. I think that way, I think that everybody should do the best. And coming to the relationships, I think you have to maintain
this is not a discussion right now. If you think that any of us does not want to do that, that is when we are invoking a discussion. So it's not a discussion about asking if you want to do it or not. If you want to do it, then it is a default answer. If you don't want to, then I'm asking for that. So it's not a discussion where we go point by point, because that will take away a lot of our time. So it's only if somebody says that I don't want to do that, that is where we are asking for a discussion at this point. Hope you get that. Yeah, thank you. All right. So I think for all three, the answer is yes for everyone. Nobody is saying no. That's good. The next one is, do I want to inspire others and be a role model? I would imagine, because one of the things that as humans we want is to be able to influence, right, positively. Everybody goes for that. So there is a natural knack for people to influence people, or having an ability to do that in a positive manner. So everybody wants to do that, right? And that's one of the reasons we look up to role models around us, so that we can emulate them and make our life successful. Yes, Swati ji. Okay. Anybody have? Do you disagree on this one? Do I want to have the law of karma work in my favor? Is there anybody who would refute that? I would imagine not. Law of karma says, what shall you sow, so shall you reap. So you would like to sow things so that you reap good things, right? Either neutral acts or positive acts. Everybody would like to do that, right? So that's the next one. And the next leading question is, do I want to evolve spiritually and get closer to the goal of life? I would imagine everybody does. That's why we are sitting here in this session, right? So all these leading questions, if you think about it, now if I tell you, or you may ask now, okay, all that is fine. Is there a silver bullet for all of these? Can you give me a silver bullet which can address all these aspects of my life? You'll say, wow, I'll grab it with both hands, right? So different shlokas for different folks, like Swamiji says, right? Bhagavad Gita has so many shlokas based on your appetite and all, what appeals to you and the station of life that you are in. what really resonates with you to draw solace and inspiration from, you can go for that shloka. So there are different shlokas for different folks, but if you were to call upon a Swiss Army knife shloka, right, for all the questions, things that we spoke about in the previous slide. Swiss Army knife, you know, right? Multi-purpose kind of a thing. You can do so many things with the same knife. And if that is the case, then the good news is this is the shloka we need to be thinking about. Okay, the shloka that we are going to discuss today, which Lord Krishna is telling to Arjun, this particular shloka is going to cater to all of these questions and even much beyond. And we'll see how and why. So this is an extremely popular verse, as we know, in Bhagavad Gita. So much so that even the school children, they are familiar with it, and it offers deep insights into the proper spirit of work. And whenever the topic of Karm Yog comes, it is discussed. Now we spoke about the stress-free living as well, right? So many books are written on that literature. If only somebody could understand the depth of this shloka, this formula was given to us by Lord Krishna 5,000 years back. Very simple formula. So this shloka has different aspects to it. We are going to touch up one aspect today. And time permitting, hopefully we'll cover it in entirety or as best as we possibly can today. So, Karm Yog, there are 4 parts to it. In this one, the first one is do your duty, do not concern yourself with the results. And if you look at it, this is a punchline in a lot of circles, sports circles, anything that requires performance-driven thing. You know, even if you look at some of the leading athletes, if you hear their interviews in cricket or in tennis or in swimming, the lead performers, they are actually talking about this principle only. The way they talk is they focus on the process. They don't focus on the outcome, because based on the quality of the process and the rigor of the process that they have followed, the outcome are a natural consequence of it. Okay, and then even after following the process, if the outcome is not what they expected, they would accept it because that's the best they could have done. Okay, I'll show you on maybe one of the interviews of Michael Phelps, who won 8 Olympic gold medals. He's one of the most, it's one of the most enduring sport, and he's one of the most successful athletes in US history. Beautiful interview, right? If you look at some of the statements from MS Dhoni in a lot of his post-match conferences, and for that matter, even Virat Kohli, if you are an ardent follower of cricket, they talk about the same process. You know, focusing on the process and not on the results. The same concept is reiterated by, the cricketers, the swimmers, endurance sports, and so many places. That means it is a success mantra for them because they have realized it over time through the competitive sports that they are in. So going back, basically, we are talking about a silver bullet now, right, for all the leading questions that we spoke about. So the first aspect of this shloka is do your duty, do not concern yourself with the results. Okay, this is the first aspect of the shloka. The second one is the fruits of your actions are not for your enjoyment. Hard one to take. We'll go into its depth in the later sessions. Today we have discussed only the first one. The third one, even while working, give up the pride of doership. This is the third aspect of the shloka. And the fourth one is do not be attached to inaction. So these are the 4 tenets or principles of this shloka that Lord Krishna is telling Arjun about the art of work or the science of work. And if you can pick up, any of these aspects and try it in our laboratory of our day-to-day lives, not just limited to our work, but all aspects of life, whether it's a relationship, work, profession, studies, interpersonal stuff, this is just a success mantra. It's a silver bullet or a Swiss Army knife, so to say. That is how powerful these principles are. So like I said, this is a pretty in-depth shloka. Today we are going to touch on first aspect of it, which says that do your duty, but do not concern yourself with the results. We're going to focus on this one today. So let's move on. And it is also called NATO acronym. NATO is not the NATO that we have been talking about, Ukraine war and Russia. This NATO is acronym is given by Swamiji, not attached to outcome. And this is the one that we are going to talk about today. Not attached to results or outcome. Actually, I put in results here, NATO. Okay, let's move on. So if you look at it, we are tiny. You see that on the right hand side? That is how tiny we are in grand scheme of things. We may think we are a big deal, but we are not, whether we like it or not. And we are actually stuck in the cycle of birth and death. That is something which is where we are right now. So going back to it, so we are tiny souls, fragmental parts of God, and we are stuck in this world of, the birth and death lives, the cycle of that. It's just like this cycle which keeps on repeating. Now, the key thing here is, although we are tiny, we do have a potential to transform to infinite. Okay, that is the potential we have. And spirituality is all about enabling us. This is a journey which will enable this. From being tiny, we become infinite, that infinite potential that we are talking about. Okay. Now, again, going back to the problem statement, if you look at it, right, when we started off, we spoke about the business case. For anything, we need a reason. Why do we want to do that? Why Karm Yog? The very first thing that I had put in, do I want to realize my true potential at my work and potential and profession? And what is my true potential? We may think, if I'm in a certain profession, if I become CEO, that is my true potential. Or if in a certain profession, I end up winning an Olympic gold medal, that is my true potential, that means I have fructified my potential. Or if it is a certain field, I end up winning a Nobel Prize, that is where the cap of my potential is. What God is saying is you have infinite potential. Okay? And in order for us to do that, you just have to start aligning to the 4 principles that I spoke about, okay? Which will take us closer to that infinite potential that we are talking about. Okay, let's get started on the first one, see what it means. So the irony of life is, it says that we had come to pluck flowers from the garden of life, but the ensuing hustle and bustle of human existence, we ended up entangled in thorns, and that keeps on repeating lifetime after lifetime, right? So like this says, फूल चुनने आए थे बागे हयात में, खरा जरा में दामन उल्फाकर रह गए. So that continues to be our story, because we don't get the exposure, or even if we get the exposure, we are not intellectually convinced to align to these principles. And that is why we not only cap our potential, but also undercut or undersell ourselves lifetime after lifetime. Okay? And that is where the shloka is a great stepping stone to pave the way for realizing our true potential. So let's move on. So here's a monk. So this monk goes to an ashram, right? And he finds a laptop there. And he asks in the ashram, can I send emails? Okay. Answer that he gets from the senior monk is, yes, but no attachments. Okay, you can send emails, but without attachments. Okay. Now, this is a joke, but this sets the... Yes, Amokji, you had a question?
Yes, Amokji, Radhe Radhe. Please go ahead.
Yeah, and also, can you please translate like the things in Hindi to English?
Hindi to English. Oh, the previous one, that particular Amok, you are, how young you are, how old are you? And where are you joining us from?
Amok.
Amok?
Okay.
Yeah, I'll tell you only if you tell me your age and place.
Alan, and 8 years.
Very
Wow.
nice. Pleasure to have you, Amok. Welcome to the session. So yes, the Hindi was Phool chunne aaye the baage hayat mein. That means we had come to pluck flowers from the garden of life. And then khara zara mein daman ulfakar rehge. That means in the ensuing hustle and bustle of human existence, we ended up entangled in thorns. Okay. So although we came here to pick flowers, but we got stuck in those thorns. And that is something, is the story of our life, because we don't understand the higher principle around how to go about our work, studies, profession, managing relationships. Because Lord Krishna, what he has given a very simple formula, but we are not able to capture the key message, essence, and practice it as he expects us to do. And that is what we are going to discuss today. Hope that answers, Amok. All right. So let's move on. So this monk has, okay, that joke is over. He said, can I send emails? Of course, he can send emails, but without attachments. Okay, so this is the key to this shloka, or this first aspect that we are going to talk about. So let's think about it, okay? When we do work, there are actions that we perform in our day-to-day life. They fall into two categories. All the actions that you perform, they fall into two categories. You cannot say there's a third category. There is one, I would like to know. That is why we go logically, step by step. We introduce the leading questions. Everybody said yes, yes, yes to everything, right? And now let's look at these actions. They fall into two categories. What is the type 1 category? And then there is a type 2 category as well. That's right. The type 1 is the ones that we do with our intellect and mind. Right? Your intellect says, yes, go for it. Mind said, okay, I will go for it. That is one action that we do. We take the approval of our intellect before doing anything. Right? For example, if you have to behave in a certain manner, your intellect will tell you, is it appropriate to do that in office or at home? Intellect says, yeah, it's okay. Nobody's watching. Then you will do it. And if your intellect says, no, if your boss comes, it will be not cool. So you will not do it. So that is the first level of action that you do with your intellect and mind. The second level of action is, type of action is, the one which is done with intellect and mind will always come into picture, no matter what action you do. However, there is another dynamic to it. It comes with attachment, what that monk was warned against in emails. So the second kind of action is, mind, intellect is there, but attachment also comes. Okay, and that attachment, that changes the whole dynamics. Every dynamic is changed just because of this third variable that has come in performing that action. Let's look at that now. Because we are picking up the first part of Karm Yog today, let's see the dynamics of this attachment thing now. So upon hearing, when somebody hears this Karm Yog part, first thing that will come to their mind is, if you give up attachment to results, won't our performance go down? Very, very normal, obvious thing that comes to our mind. You give up attachment, my performance is going to come down. Okay. So this is attachment performance. Okay. So there are two graphs here. Which one do you think is the correct one? On the left or on the right? But when you say left or right, you have to tell your left or my left. Okay. I think it will be the same for all. Yes, Samji?
Samji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
What do you think? Which one?
Yeah, first one. If attachment is more, performance will be less.
Attachment is more, performance will be less.
Yeah.
So attachment is more, performance.
So first graph only, right? Yeah. Yes.
Or attachment is more, performance is also going up. So first one, right? On the left hand side, anybody who
Uday Kumarji said right. I don't know which right is this, but if it means the other kind of graph, we would want to hear.
Okay, so let me say the one in which it is bisecting the coordinates, or the one which is not bisecting the coordinates.
And Jyoti has also raised hands.
Yes, Jyoti.
Radhe Radhe Jyoti.
It's not your CAT exam, but let's see your mathematical.
Radhe Radhe. So though we are talking about attachment in the material world, but if this attachment is with the higher self, then the right second one is the correct one, where the increase in attachment, performance will increase.
You have not only answered it, you have over answered it, which is very
nice. I'm so sorry. Thank you. I don't know what to say.
It's a good answer. Yeah, we're talking about material attachment, but I think your response, I got the answer. So thank you very much. Yes, Shri Ramya, you wanted to add as well?
Shri Ramya ji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Radhe, I am my experiences, I'm seeing both in different situations. Like when you are in student hat, if there is no deadline and if there is no fear of exam, like that fear is also an attachment, right? Without that, we wouldn't study.
No, that becomes a different topic altogether. We talk about the motivation to work. Do you need an external motivation or an internal motivation? So we are mixing concepts here, okay? Attachment, setting a deadline, having a goal, all these seem like all the same kind of a thing, but they are all different. We are going to draw boxes around each one of those. Attachment means you are really hung up on results. And will it lead to a better performance or not? That was the question in this particular case. So we'll look at it through some examples. So,
Uday Kumar ji, I have unmuted you if you want to say.
Yes, Uday ji.
Okay, let's just move ahead.
No worries. So, let's look at it, some examples and see if you can poke holes in these examples, okay? Now, Lord Krishna is saying that working without personal motivation does not reduce the quality of work. That is what Lord Krishna is basically saying in that. Instead, we become even more skillful than before, right? Sounds counterintuitive to begin with. And let's look at it through some examples. This is a surgeon. Now, he's not disturbed whether the patient survives or not, because when he's performing a surgery, person after person, like a factory job, he's doing his duty unselfishly. It's his duty to the best of his ability, and he's not attached to the result. He's not attached to the result because he's doing it one after another. Teachers also, for that matter, when they are teaching at school, they're just doing their duty. And if the class fails and all, of course, the principal comes and say your result is bad, that will disturb you, but do you really care? I mean, you're doing your best. You're not going to lose your sleep because that particular kid is going to fail, unless that kid is yours. Why? Now there's an attachment. Same thing. In the surgeon's case, they are doing their duty to the best of their ability. And so their hand is working perfectly, surgeon's hand. And even if the patient dies, the surgeon does not feel guilty of murder. Maybe if it's a new one, graduate from college, first time, they will feel, one of my friends, he had graduated from FMC, said, I still remember the first death that took place in my hand. But they don't feel guilty because they know they were doing it at the sense of duty at that point. Their motive was not selfish. They were just doing it with a sense of duty to the best of their ability. Now let's change the situation. Let's change one variable here, right? So this activity is being carried out by is it a type 1 activity or a type 2 activity? Anybody? We spoke about 2 types right now. Yes, Jyoti.
Yes, Jyoti, please.
Radhe Radhe, it is type 1 activity.
It's a type 1 activity. Bingo. I think you get full marks for that. So now let's look at this activity. Now let's say the same surgeon, his only child needs to be operated, and it's a matter of life and death. You think he'll have the courage to do so? A lot of big doctors, they don't perform surgeries on their relatives and known ones. They will call another friend of theirs whom they trust and would have them do it. So what kind of activity, if he were to do that, you think he would have been able to perform to the best of his ability? Like he might be a topmost surgeon, the best surgeon in the profession. Now, because the attachment came, it became a type 2 activity. You think he's able to perform to the best of his ability? Lord Krishna is telling the same thing actually. He's saying when you get in attachment in the way, you don't perform well. You are bringing in that pressure of the result, which you don't control. So what you control also takes a beating. It gets blurred at that point. That's essentially what Lord Krishna is saying. He's actually, broken this down at a very, very fundamental level. Right? So many self-help books are written. How many of those can explain you very so simply? Type 1, type 2 action. It's a type 2 action that somebody is performing, and that changes the complete dynamics of that act. Okay. So In this particular case, because he has attachment to the results, he fears he will not be able to perform the operation skillfully and he seeks help of another surgeon. And so this shows that attachment, it does not make us more skillful. Rather, it has an adverse effect on our performance. If we work without attachment, we can do our maximum skill level without feeling nervous, jittery, scared, tense, or excited. All these emotions come because you are hung up on the result, just too attached to the result. And it can lead to nervousness, jitteriness, and all that stuff. A lot of people in board exams, they just collapse. Why do they collapse? I mean, I've seen people getting revived just before the exam. So much of pressure. You know, what will happen? What will happen? What kind of paper will come? Sometimes you have a dream also. I also had a dream, you know, before my exam that I turned up for a English exam and it turned out to be a maths exam. But in my dream, my brain reasoned it's never possible. I can never be so stupid. And then I was saved. Okay. So in my dream, I could think that way, but it can happen. You can become jittery before your exams and things like that. Why does it happen? Because you are so attached to that part. And that basically adversely impacts your performance. Even if you look at the top athletes, they have butterflies in their stomach. It's not that they don't feel nervous. But what separates them from regular people who do not make it so big is the fact that they when they start performing, when they're out in the field, when they start playing, they get into a zone where they forget about all that part. They just start relishing, you know, their muscle memory kicks in from all the practice that they have done, and they just focus on the next thing that they can do. See some of the interviews of Federer, Tendulkar, and some of the great athletes. They would tell you that they are just focused on the moment without thinking too much about the past delivery that they got beaten, so they are nervous, or thinking about the next, okay, I need to be doing this in the next. They just go by the moment, staying in the moment part of it. And that's because you're not attached or thinking too far ahead of yourself. A lot of athletes would tell you the moment you start thinking too far ahead, it will bring in nervousness, jitteriness, and it will impact your performance. So this is the first principle Lord Krishna is talking about, even the nurses for that matter. Now, if a baby is crying and it's crying really badly, a mother, out of affection, because of attachment, may give it milk. But that milk might make its stomach hurt more. But nurse would know, because she's doing it from the sense of duty. She will not get emotionally, weak just because she's seeing the baby cry, and she'll do the right thing. Why? Because she's doing a type 1 activity, mind and intellect alone, not bringing the attachment into it. So Lord Krishna is saying, attachment part you have to take care of. You need to really work on that part for you to really excel in whatever you do. That is essentially the first tenet of Karm Yog that we are talking about. So let's go further into this. We looked at the surgeon example. Now, the other aspect of it is, this is the Nididhyasan part of it, which I want to spend a bit of a time, and along with some questions that anybody may have. So here is, you see people working, right? So I do my work honestly. This is a leading question I put in, right? Office and in my studies and every way. So they think they are doing Karm Yog. And furthermore, they go on to say that, what is the use of doing this bhajan, kirtan and all that stuff. So let's put this question in perspective. First of all, is it really Karm Yog? And secondly, the activity on the right, how does it even have an interplay or relation to what we do in our day-to-day life at all? And can both of these be married from a spiritual standpoint? With that, I'll just take a break. We'll make the announcements and then get this discussion going. Sandhya, over to you if you want to make some announcements and then get this discussion going.
All right. So there are some questions as well. So probably first I'll make the announcements and then.
Sure.
So I have posted all the announcements in the chat. So please go through them. Most importantly, there are two announcements that I would like to talk about. First, we have tomorrow grand Dashera celebrations at the Radhakrishna temple. For me, it is the first time opportunity to attend Dashera in the United States. So I am really excited about that. And whoever is here in Dallas, please consider visiting the temple and enjoying the festivities. Apart from Dashera, we will also have Durga Puja events, as well as Garba, Dandiya. There is food festival, and people who are interested in festive clothes, you can also buy that over there. So it's like a full feast going on at the temple. So consider visiting. Second thing, again, which is super, super exciting, is the birthday celebrations, the 100th birthday celebrations of Jagat Guru Kripaluji Maharaj. And that is going to be from October 6th to 9th. And like, just for those who may not know, I think most of the people attending these sessions are aware of Jagat Guru Kripaluji. But for those who may not know, these sessions are also being run by JK Yog. JK Yog is Jagat Guru Kripalu Yog. And he is our Param Guru of our Guru. And by saying Jagat Guru, he's basically the spiritual master, like Jagat Guru, the Guru of the world. And like
is equivalent to Pope, like you have Pope, the position of Pope in Christianity. And there have only been 4 Jagat Gurus prior to him, Mool Jagat Gurus, and he's the 5th one, and also accorded as Jagat Gurutam by the Kashi Vishwa Parishad. So we're going to celebrate his 100th birthday centenary. So it is going to be really nice and devotional celebrations that you don't want to miss out on. And I think we have already opened up the form for registrations, right? Hopefully you can register as 3 or more team, and I look forward to seeing your performances, and because I'll be facilitating the quiz and trivia that day as well. So regardless, join that. And if you have not already enrolled, please could do so. I really look forward to seeing the performances, and it's a good way to express your gratitude to what we have received, because it's only because of him we are sitting here today and partaking the nectar of this divine knowledge. Yes, Sandhya.
Yes. Yeah, you said it all very nicely. And just one thing that, yes, so you all can participate and submit your entries. Minimum 3 participants per team, and as many participants as you want otherwise. So start making your team, start coming up with creative ideas to present about the bhajans or any other thing that you would want to. And if you do not have a team and you still want to participate, you can put your names in the feedback tracker and we will help you making the teams.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's all.
That's about the announcements. Should I go to the questions and messages?
Yeah, let's go with the questions then.
Okay. So Payal ji has asked, we have been told right from our childhood in India, don't get attached to the results, but how to do that? That is not being taught. Can some light be thrown on this with regard to how to don't get attached?
Okay. How do we not get attached to the results? So first of all, the solidifying the knowledge that Lord Krishna is telling us time and again, that you are entitled to do your duty, but don't start thinking about the results beforehand. Now, that science, obviously, it has to be looked at it holistically once we cover all the 4 aspects. Then what do we do with the results, right? So he says, do it for my pleasure. Offer the fruits of your results to me. That is the 3rd tenet. Second one that we are going to touch upon probably tomorrow. So when you start working with it, see why we are attached to the results. Now think about it logically. You're attached to the results because you think your enjoyment depends on it. You will be happy if you get that favorable results, and you will not be happy if you don't get that particular result. All right. So that means your own selfish motive about that particular thing is at play. So these concepts go deeper. So when you are doing it, it's like when somebody is salaried, do they really care if they hit that or not, regardless of which they're going to get their salary, right? Because they're doing it for somebody and that person is stressed over, right? That if there's a laborer, he's a daily paid laborer, he would care less if this work gets completed or not. The boss will get worried. He's getting his salary. So that mindset is free of burden. I'm getting it, right? So when you start aligning to the higher principle, I'm doing it for the pleasure of God. You are the ultimate dispenser of the results and it's your thing. I'm just going to put in my best. So that consciousness will come when we start understanding this principle deeply and start practicing in our day-to-day life that I'm going to do it. With that, I'll attract more of God's grace that will relieve me of stress, that will help me perform to the best of my ability, that will take me closer to the goal of my life. And then the spiritual aspect of it as well. When I do it by thinking about the result for myself, I'm doing a binding karma. Would you like to do binding karma or a karma that is liberating? So with knowledge, we can do it. That is the only way. There is no jadoo or any kind of a miracle pill for that, other than just contemplating and taking that knowledge deeper, giving yourself enough reason why I should do that. It's like it's going to take me closer to God. It's going to make Krishna happy. It's going to draw more grace from Krishna, and it's going to take me closer to him. So when you are truly convinced about that, automatically that mindset will start developing. So we have to give ourselves enough reason with our mind. We have to fight with our mind in this particular place until it starts becoming our natural default tendency. That anything I'm going to do it my best. That's it. After that, it's not, it's like after that, God, it's only in your hands. I will do my best. And it's very liberating. It frees us of so much of burden. So knowledge, contemplation on knowledge is the only way.
And one comment from Uday Kumarji, he says we have to be equipoised while performing the action.
True. And the reason we get jittery or excited is when we are hung up to the result. When we think about failure or success, that's when we become excited or jittery. When we are like, okay, I'm going to do my best and enjoy myself, that's it. The whole burden is gone at that point, right? Arjun's example is given in Mahabharata. When Bhishma took this pratigya that I'm going to kill Arjun tomorrow, there was this panic wave amongst the Pandava caps. We know Bhishma pratigya. Bhishma, when he would do a pratigya, he would stick to it. His vow, that is what he was known for. So Yudhishthir and every Pandava they were panic stricken. Krishna goes there and sees their sunken faces because they are, okay, Bhishma is going to kill our main warrior Arjun tomorrow. And then Krishna says, okay, let me check out Arjun. If they are so upset about how our panicky Arjun would be, let me go and check it out. And he goes to the Arjun camp where he's there and Arjun is happily sleeping like a baby. He said, wake up, don't you know what Bhishma has said for tomorrow? And Arjun said, yeah, I've heard about it. He said, are you not scared? He said, why should I be scared? You should be scared. That is the mindset, right? Is he attached to the result? No, he's just doing his best. He's not saying, oh my God, if he kills me, what will happen to the war? What will happen to what Lord Krishna had told me? I have to win this war and this and that. No, nothing. He's like, all right, it's your problem. You take care of it. That's it. And there's another story of lady of going to Thakurji's mandir every day while getting the goods back from his forest. And one day she missed, she had just too much of wood. So she did not go to Thakurji's mandir that day. And when she walked past that, the log of woods, it fell down. So Thakurji said, all right, poor lady, she used to come every day, let me help her out. So Krishna goes and says, how can I help you? And she looks at Krishna. He said, can you put these logs back on my head? So this is what we do. We like to carry our burden. I don't know why, because of our conditioning. God says, give it to me. So it is freeing up actually, rather than taking so much of tension and stress on our head. We need to develop that mindset and get better at it. So I hope that answers your question.
Okay, and there was one announcement that I've missed, so I'll just quickly say that. So Swamiji has now reached India. So for those in India, you have, like I'm saying, like he was traveling to India.
On the way to India, I guess.
So. I mean, will be in as per their day, I guess. So yeah, those in India, please utilize the opportunity, and he'll be at Mangarh for Maharajji's birthday celebrations. So whoever can join in person, I would recommend do not miss the opportunity. And then of course there are shivers in India about which I will post information in the chat. So please check that out. Okay.
Thank you.
There's one more question from Samji. What our lady Samji, just to clarify. So what mother is what, like, okay, she's asking that she doesn't understand the example of mother doing with mind and intellect and not bringing attachment.
Not mother, the nurse I'm saying. The nurse is doing with mind and intellect when she decides not to feed the baby milk because it is not good for the baby's stomach if it's hurting. But a mother won't be able to do that because she has attachment. She may even feed the milk, which may not be good for the baby because she has an attachment. So the point was, when you are operating out of objectivity, not bringing attachment, you will do the right thing, not the thing born out of misplaced compassion at that point. Okay. And I will be posting this question on our portal as well. There was a nice discussion that we had last question. If you have not participated, go do check it out. On if you had only 1 week, like Parikshit had, what are the things that you would cut out from your life and what are the things that you would prioritize? So if you've not already looked at that, it's a good opportunity to reflect on that and start contributing to that because it's a good reflection exercise that would give us an idea of how much noise we have added in our life just because we think that we are going to exist here for eternity. Check it out, and similar to that, I will be, putting some food for thought every day, through which you can derive a lot of action items for yourself as well. So please do keep checking the portal if you're not already doing so, and it would be good if you can participate there as well. Yes, any other questions?
Samji has a hand. Radhe Radhe Samji, please.
Radhe Radhe, Sandhya ji, just want to clarify, did you say that Swamiji will be in Mangad during Shivir, centenary celebrations?
No, not the Shivir, but the birthday celebration.
Okay,
Yeah,
from 13 to 16, he will be in...
from 6 to 9.
Okay.
Yeah. The other Shivirs, I have posted the dates, and in the chat as well. Yeah.
Okay, so anybody wants to take this question? Is it Karm Yog? If you simply do your stuff? Because one of the stereotypes that I have at least personally experienced it, everybody thinks they're a Karm Yogi in India. Okay, if they're working, they think that is Karm Yog. So yes, Jyoti, you are on a roll today. So go ahead, please.
Yes, Jyoti.
So Radhe Radhe, but I think it's not complete Karm Yog until you are remembering God. So to me, it's not complete Karm Yog. Unless until you are by doing your stuff, if you're not remembering God, it's not Karm Yog.
Yeah. I would even negate it with the very first principle which we have spoken about today. Are you doing it with some kind of an attachment or a desire or self-seeking? If answer is no, that itself will tell you it's not Karm Yog. So I've not even gone as far as God at this point. Just the very first principle where if you're doing it with some sort of an attachment, it is not Karm Yog. It's a very simple answer for that. Thank you. Okay, any other questions? On the concept of Karm Yog, see, we have introduced the first principle today. We are going to talk about 3 more. And we have already spoken about what are the gains, what do we stand to gain by these practices. You can keep refreshing that. I'll put it in tomorrow's leading questions slide as well. That way we know basically everything. We have to think what is in it for me? Why should I even do that, right? So this slide covers that. What do we stand to gain if we start practicing these principles? So you can put a refresher for yourself on this, and we'll keep on revisiting this slide every day as we go through this journey of Karm Yoga. All right, any other questions? Or
one more thing. So I just thought we'd mention the names of people who are actively engaged at the community. I'm unable to share my screen.
So you can do that. I have just made you able to share your screen now. Are you able to see that?
I think we lost her probably the internet connection or something.
Oh, we lost her? Okay, I can quickly show that. Are you able to see my screen, all of you?
Not yet.
Okay, so this is the portal we're talking about. Are you able to see the portal?
Now we can see.
This is the portal. I think if you are, it already be there. So if I go to network, home, here we have different threads from the different classes that we had. And this is the thread that we had, like Jyoti has created a thread on the daily summary there. And this thread is what I was talking about, where I had put in a question on, where's that question? Gone down with time. So I had posted a question, you can check it out. This is a weekend homework I had kept on there. So this is the question where it talks about, if you only had a week remaining, what are the things you will prioritize that will become non-negotiable and things you will immediately give up? And there is a lot of traction that is going on in this thread. You can go and check out the responses for this as well. Everybody has put in quite a few responses on this particular thread. You wanted to share that, Sandhya?
Yes, sorry about that technical issue.
No worries.
No, I think you can only share. I can speak. If you can just
Sure,
share
sure.
that.
So basically, I was talking about that. If you've not, go check out the portal, and we have a lot of traction going on this particular thread. You can read through the responses, and it's pretty interesting and fascinating. Maybe we can bring some of those tomorrow. But do take a check. Do check out the thread. I will post it again today on that CIC group. That way you can actively participate. Plus, I will post a leading question today as well, based on the discussion that we have had. All right. Are we on time now? If no questions, then if we have any participants for the devotional segment, we could take those and conclude our session for the day.
Jyoti wants to, wow.
That is wow. And Pallaviji, very nice. So we have two. Do we have Payalji as well? So let's get started with our session. Okay, we've got 3. So let's do that. It will be a nice devotional segment. Those of you, if you can stay back, we do a bit of a chanting towards the end. You're welcome to stay back. Stick around. We'll wrap it up in next 10 minutes or so.
All right, Jyoti, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Jyoti.
Radhe Radhe. First of all, I would like to say I am not very good singer, but I cannot hold myself for so long. So I wanted to do this for so long. So I'll just do this. So forgive me if it is not that great.
No worries. Go ahead.
Kanha, Kanha, आन पड़ी मैं तेरे द्वार. कान्हा कान्हा आन पड़ी मैं तेरे द्वार. तू जैसे चाहे वैसी नहीं मैं, हाँ तेरी राधा जैसी नहीं मैं. फिर भी हूँ कैसी कैसी नहीं मैं. कृष्णा कृष्णा देख तो ले एक बार. कान्हा कान्हा आन पड़ी मैं तेरे द्वार. राधे राधे.
Very nice, Jyoti. That was a great debut you did today. So a lot of hearts for you and kudos for taking that initiative. Loved it. Thank you very much. Wonderful. All right, we have 2 more, so we can take Pallaviji and then Payalji, and look forward to both of you as well. So thank you again, Jyoti, for the beautiful rendition.
Thank you so much. It was heartfelt.
Yes, beautiful.
Yes, Pallaviji, Radhe Radhe.
Devotional. Yeah, Radhe Radhe. So on the auspicious occasion of Ashtami, I'm going to offer my prayers to Goddess Durga. A very popular arti, Ambe tu hai Jagdambe Kali. Please sing along. अम्बे तू है जगदम्बे काली, जय दुर्गे खप्पर वाली, तेरे ही गुण गाए भारती ओ मैया, हम सब उतारे तेरी आरती. अम्बे तू है जगदम्बे काली, जय दुर्गे खप्पर वाली, तेरे ही गुण गाए भारती हो मैया, हम सब उतारे तेरी आरती। तेरे भक्त जनों पर माता भीड़ पड़ी है भारी, भीड़ पड़ी है भारी। दानव दल पर टूट पड़ो माँ, करके सिंह सवारी, करके सिंह सवारी। 100 सिंहों से भी बलशाली, 10 भुजाओं वाली, दुखियों के दुखड़े निवारती हो मैया, हम सब उतारे तेरी आरती। अम्बे तू है जगदम्बे काली, जय दुर्गे खप्पर वाली, तेरे ही गुण गाए भारती हो मैया, हम सब उतारे तेरी आरती। नहीं मांगते धन और दौलत, ना चांदी ना सोना, ना चांदी ना सोना। हम तो मांगे माँ तेरे मन में एक छोटा सा कोना, एक छोटा सा कोना। सबकी बिगड़ी बनाने वाली, लाज बचाने वाली, सतियों के सत को संवारती हो मैया, हम सब उतारे तेरी आरती हो मैया, हम सब उतारे तेरी आरती हो मैया, हम सब उतारे तेरी आरती। राधे
Radhe Radhe Pallavi ji, so beautiful. Reminded me of when we were little ones, we used to do this arti. Like my mom used to do that. She couldn't attend today's session, so we used to do this family arti during Navratris and other. I mean, pretty much every day. So thank you so much. You took us, you turned the clock back today, and very beautifully sung, right?
Yeah, we do that during Navratri, especially.
Yeah.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, thank you so much. It was a perfect arti, for Ashtami that we are celebrating. So thank you so much for that. Loved it.
Thank you so much, Pallavi ji. It was so blissful and so serene.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah, I've been singing. We have been singing this arti for last couple of days, so
awesome.
That's why. Yeah.
Very nice. Thank you so much. All right. Last but not least.
Nightingale, Payal ji.
Yes,
Radhe Radhe Payal ji. Please go ahead.
Please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe, Sandhya ji, Nitin ji, and everyone. I'll just sing 4 lines today. Okay. Sure. So Sandhya ji and Shefali ji, like if you want to just repeat after me, Pallavi ji, you too. Yeah. So, okay.
Thank you for not including my name.
Oh, Nitin ji, you too. I'm so sorry.
No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Yeah. Radhe Govind Krishna Murari, Radhe Govind Krishna Murari, Radhe Shyama Mukund Murari, Radhe Shyama Mukund Murari, Radhe Govind Krishna Murari, Radhe Govind Krishna Murari, Ghanshyam Mukund Murari, Ghanshyam Mukund Murari, Radhe Govind Krishna Murari, Radhe Govind Krishna Murari. Nand Anand Radhe Govind, Nand Anand Radhe Govind, Radhe Govind, Shyama Govind, Radhe Govind, Shyama Govind, Ghanshyam Mukund Murari, Radhe Radhe Govind Murari, घनश्याम मुकुंद मुरारी, राधे राधे गोविंद राधे, राधे गोविंद कृष्ण मुरारी, राधे श्यामा मुकुंद मुरारी, घनश्याम मुकुंद मुरारी, घनश्याम मुकुंद मुरारी, राधे गोविंद कृष्ण मुरारी, राधे गोविंद कृष्ण मुरारी. Radhe Radhe. Thank you so much.
Radhe Radhe. Thank you so much, Payalji. Blissful, devotional, and beautiful like always. You can see so many hearts.
It was so engaging. Thank you so much. We all could participate. It was like a group bhajan.
Group bhajan.
Yeah.
Very nice. Krishna bhajan, Mata, Devi Ma bhajan. Great. Wonderful. So, yes, Surendraji, you wanted to add something? You wanted to say a few lines. So please go ahead. And then we would come to the end of today's session after this. A great session.
Just 2 lines only. Because of Ashtami Navami here in India.
Okay.
Sarv Mangal Mangale Shive Sarvade Sadke Sharnay Triambake Gauri Narayani Namastute Narayani Namastute Namastute Namastute.
Very
Jai
nice.
Mata.
Jai Mata ki. Thank you again, everybody. And we'll continue with our journey of Karm Yog tomorrow. We're going to spend about 2 to 3 days, probably the entire week on this concept, but we'll go deep like we do. So, and please come up with the questions that you may have related to this concept. This can often be misconstrued or confusing, right? How do I do that in this? And we'll try to tackle some of those stereotypes associated with it as well, right? If I don't set goals, or if I'm not attached, how will I perform? How will I be able to do my best? Those questions we'll tackle. So thank you again for your wonderful participation. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Stay blessed. Have a happy Navami and a great day and a wonderful rest of your evening. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you to all the devotional segment participants as well. It was really blissful and enjoyable. And let's see you all tomorrow and we'll celebrate the Shera also in our session, maybe something.
We'll get a virtual Ravan and do something.
Sure, great. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Good night, good day, everyone.